Hello and welcome to EasyFix Appliance LTD Podcast. Today is episode number 5. And today I wanted to share with you something that I think you should be aware of. You will understand what I mean and why I really think you should be aware of. So about refrigerators, okay? So the old refrigerators used the type of refrigerant, which is the common ones are R34A and R12. But in the recent years, I think in the last 6-7 years or so, I'm not exactly 100% sure of the exact time where they started doing just R600 after banning 134A, which is not environment friendly. And so as soon as they introduced R600A, which is an eco-friendly refrigerant, which is great news for our environment, but it comes with a caveat, because R600A is isobutane, and that means that it is flammable. The old refrigerant were not flammable. The new refrigerant is flammable. And how would you know if your fridge is using the R600 or the old style of refrigerant? Is by looking at the tag, the model tag inside of your fridge. Usually you will say if it uses the 134 or R600. Now, if it is using the R600, which is most likely, if you have a newer fridge, it is probably been sold as R600, because the new ones are just R600. And so if that's the case, then here are some tips for you, because your fridge can explode. And luckily it didn't happen a lot of times, but it has happened to some people. And if you don't believe me, you can go on YouTube and type fridges explode. And you will see there are a few videos. Luckily, from what I saw, nobody got hurt, which is great, but you will see the whole kitchen destroyed, because when the fridge exploded, everything that was in the kitchen was damaged. So if there was a human at this moment in the kitchen, it will definitely be at the risk of dying. Okay, so here are the few things that I want you to know, so you keep yourself safe. So the first thing, the signs that you will notice if that refrigerant will leak out of the fridge is there will be some kind of chemical smell, which you will be like, that's an unusual. You might also hear some hissing sound. That is when the leak is fairly big. Or you will see some kind of oil residue somewhere around the fridge, leaking somewhere, and that's probably also a leak for the refrigerant. And if all those conditions met all together, then you are definitely have a leak somewhere in the fridge. And so here are some very, very important things you need to know. If you smell that chemical smell, number 1, never ever smoke next to the fridge, ignite any light, because that refrigerant is already mixed with air, and all it needs to be ignited is a spark, a flame, anything that will ignite it. Okay, so at no cost, just don't do it. Don't smoke in the kitchen, don't ignite the gas cooktop if you have one, or don't use any electrical devices that you maybe need to plug into the power that can create a spark. Don't use anything of that sort to not ignite that refrigerant, okay? What you can do is, and very fast you should do, is make sure you have a good ventilation, because that refrigerant will be, if it's in the air, it will just evaporate and go there away from your home, right? If you open the window and there is a good ventilation. And so that's something you can do very quickly. Make sure that open the windows and run out. The other thing is what can happen sometimes. Sometimes the evaporator that's in the freezer, it can leak. Now, if the door is closed and the refrigerant is leaking into the freezer compartment, and that compartment getting full with refrigerant, meaning there is a big amount of refrigerant, and any small spark can cause a massive explosion. Okay, now you might not know that because maybe you don't smell anything, you don't hear anything, and you wouldn't really know. In those cases, if you open the freezer and there is a very strong smell, take your family and run out of the house and call a professional, call an appliance technician, call the fire department. Make sure they will check it first before you go back to your home, because that can explode if there will be a spark. And in one of the cases on the videos that I watched, that the spark happened, it happened from the fan, the evaporator fan in the freezer caused some kind of spark somehow when it was time to turn on, and that spark caused the fridge to explode, and like the whole kitchen was destroyed. So those are the things to pay attention. That's one, just to make sure you understand that and you pay attention to those signs, because those signs and your awareness and being focused and paying attention to those things can save lives. So that's very, very important. The next thing that I will mention, I know do-it-yourself, it became maybe a little bit more common than before because of YouTube and stuff, and that's great, all great, when you want to save money and when you can, amazing. But sometimes don't do it. I had a client call us last week, and he was saying, hey, I punctured the evaporator and there is a chemical smell, some sort of chemical smell, and it's like, I don't know what it is. So what I told him, I'm like, okay, just make sure you open the window, don't ignite any light, no sparks, and go out and let it ventilate and call some professional, right? So he's like, oh yeah, okay, sounds good. It's already been a while ago, so it's probably already went out and evaporated. But he did it himself. He tried to fix it. He caused a big problem, which could cause a fire, could cause an explosion. Luckily, nothing happened. Everything was great and good, and the issue was resolved, other than the fact that he have to buy a new fridge. So again, sometimes the do-it-yourself can save you a little bit of money, but in some cases you can cause much greater damage and risk to your property and to your health. So if your fridge is R600, if you have a gas stove, do not do stuff yourself. Please call a professional, let them take care of it. Sometimes it's not worth trying to save a few bucks, okay? So basically that's all I wanted to cover in this episode, just to bring some awareness, because I think it's very important. I don't want to scare you and all of the people who are listening. If you have an R600 fridge, it's not very common, but things have happened, and we want to be prepared for that rare case to happen and make sure we act accordingly in the situation. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions for me about it, my name is Gino. You can give us a call at EasyFix Appliance Repair. Our number is 778-723-2456, or you can visit our website easyfixrepair.ca. Thank you, and I'll talk to you at the next time.